Okay, so let's build on that theme a little bit here. You know, one of the things that I happened to run across recently was an article that was, I think, originated from research from Fortinet, and basically the headline associated with this: does iOS malware actually exist? And you know, sort of the point behind the article, just to summarize it very quickly, is they only had an inventory of about 11 pieces of malware that were associated with iOS devices, and of those, I think only 7 of those, or 7 of those, 7 or 8, it was 8.
Required,
8 of them required the
jailbroken.
device to be jailbroken.
Right.
So that's, I think,
Only 3 were a non-jailbreaking type of.
Right. So the significance here is that you know, if you just follow some basic guidelines, the same guidelines that we've been sharing with our audience, stay with the App Store, stay with the mainstream markets, and don't jailbreak your device. You really are in a pretty good position with iOS devices. Now, for Android, it was a completely different story. And I think perhaps, Jim, you can kind of follow up here and tell us a little bit more about what's going on in the Android space.
Yes, the Android has been the easier one for the bad guys to go after, and we've been saying that for a long time. Having said that, the amount of Android malware is actually still relatively small. We talked a couple of weeks ago about the Kohler Android malware, the ransomware that popped something up and threatened to encrypt your files on your Android device but didn't actually do it. This week, the folks at F-Secure did find a piece of malware they're calling S-Locker, which was targeting some Russian devices and was actually really ransomware. It really did go out and encrypt JPEGs, GIFs, PDFs, doc files, AVI files, multimedia files, MP3s, MP4s, then gave you a Russian address or phone number that you needed to, contact and transfer money to in order to get the key to unlock your device. And then there was also an interesting story on the GData blog about a certain brand of Android phones coming out of China that had some malware pre-installed in the firmware, which makes it extremely difficult to get rid of. Yeah, it hasn't been a great week for the Android. On the other hand, as I said, we make a big deal out of it because the bad guys have been targeting the Androids a lot more than the iOS because it's easier to develop for, and so there is a lot more stuff out there for it. But the percentage of software out there for the Android that is malicious is still very, very small. So don't mean to be scaring people. And again, if you take our advice and you stick to the mainstream markets, they've been doing a very, very good job for a long time of as soon as they're aware of malware, they get it out of there. The Chinese one, the UUPay, is in the firmware and it's disguised as the Google Play Store application. Because it's in the firmware, it gets written to the RAM disk before anything else in the OS gets loaded. It's actually like the old boot attack that we've talked about a couple of times on here. To fix it, you actually have to jailbreak it so you can flash firmware on it. So that one's kind of nasty. I have not heard that it's all that widespread, but it was from a particular Chinese manufacturer. Haven't seen a whole lot more detail on it, but that's one I intend to follow up on here as we get some more details on it.
All right. Well, if we have some more details, hopefully we can follow up on that next week. And, hopefully this was something that was discovered relatively early, because obviously that would be a pretty big inconvenience to have to, basically re-flash your device and start from scratch.
Or have to throw it away entirely.
Or have to, well, I would think you could take it back. Or maybe that was an intended feature. You never know.
The one article I saw said that they've been showing up on, eBay and places like that where you might not be able to take them back.
Oh, well, good point. Yep, absolutely. All right, so, buyer beware.